Welcome to Throwback Thursday. The Sting, 1973. What a movie. Man, oh man. All sorts of Oscar nominations and wins. Everyone, everyone was involved in this success. Just timepiece. It's recognized in film history because of how it captures this element of the Great Depression, how real and authentic it all felt. The music is one of those. It's like it's sound in music that that you may not have known came from this film. It's sort of like that kind of cool. And I have not watched this film in so long, and it was so great to use this theme, this Throwback Thursday, this hashtag TBT as a reason to go back and just have great, great entertainment that I can share with you guys. Now, if you like kind of like comedic timepieces like this, the Great Depression, you like this little cat and mouse, a hustle, those type of films. It's kind of like a dramatic comedy. It's not Johnny Dangerously, but clearly this film inspired Johnny Dangerously. It runs deep and wide. Actually, the names are the same, right? Redford's Kelly, obviously, things like that are obviously clearly tied to this. And you basically have the hustle, right? And right out of the gate, we get Redford. And you have Redford pulling off a very simple switcheroo with a guy coming out of a game and they're stealing money, which at that time, 11 grand is the equivalent to, $250,000, a ton of cash, man. Now, he's dating a prostitute. He blows his cut of the money right out of the way. Well, come to find out, the money is tied to a mob boss. They stole mob money. Not good, not good. And he gets the cops off his back by giving them counterfeit money. So now he's wanted for counterfeit money too. So he's got a mess on his hands. And by the way, the mob boss is Robert Shaw, the guy that's famously known in Jaws as Quint. So if you like Jaws and like Quint, you're like, I wonder what else he's been in. He's the mobster in this show. And he doesn't have a ton of scenes and speeches and things like that in Jaws. But you can see he's interested in being a character, right? He has a limp, little nuances with his face, couple little tick moments, things like that. It's just really, really done well. All the performances are great. There's nothing here that I'm going to bash on, really, except for maybe one little thing at the end, which we'll get to. It's the film is chaptered, right? The first part's called setup, and then you move into the different elements of the film, the hook and the tail, all that kind of stuff before you get to the sting, right? In reality, is the film is this concept of revenge where once everyone acts and the mobster murders this guy's friend and it just everything turns sideways. He wants revenge. So he goes to the biggest name grifter he can think of, the biggest name con man thief he can find, which is Paul Newman. And they want to get this mobster's money. So they come up with this elaborate scheme to fake a gambling operation. They come up with tips. This guy will go in and bid and make his bets and win. And therefore, they're going to figure out a way to milk him for money. Now, the relationships and stuff have to be set up so long and so deep. It's so believable. I thought of like Donnie Brasco, right? Where they had to go undercover for so long and so deep. There was no room for error. There was no way. This is actually way faster than all of that. Like it's this really quick con. It's not like a long game. It's a very short game. But all the characters are very well developed. You have this little cat and mouse with the police, cat and mouse with the feds. Everything works particularly well. Okay. Then the way they interact is on a train. They buy their way into this exclusive poker game run by Lonnegan. That's Robert Shaw's mobster character. And Newman plays this up as just being a crass, drunk, he doesn't have any manners. He doesn't have any couth. Used to be a term we used to use all the time, right? And it's really off-putting. And then ultimately, he's cheating. He out-cheats him at the card game and wins. And there's all this thing about money. And it sets up Redford's character, who's supposed to be his assistant, basically saying, listen, I want out from underneath this guy, man. I want out from underneath. And you have all this different, escaping an assassination attempt, always running from the, either the cop or the feds. And then you have this big setup on how they could make it look like a Western Union, how they could make it look like an actual gambling area. Kid Twist is a great character, being able to help orchestrate these things very quickly. And there's a great scene where they're painting a room and they sneak out the back door, and just, so good. Okay. How does it all kind of come together? Well, it all comes together in this big, very stressful moment where you have, like, again, 1930s money, $500,000, so like $10 million, our money. And they're going to do this bet. And they purposely misspeak. So the horse that's given the name is placed the bet, and he places the bet to win. And the tipster is like, no, I said to place, like to finish second, not to win. So he can't undo all that. The Fed comes in, he's busting things. The gun is pulled, fires are shot, and people are killed, right? So everyone gets killed. Both Newman's character, Redford's character. Feds are there, can't get to the money. He's lost his money. He can't get to it anyway. And because they're dead, there's no one to get revenge on, in case you don't believe it. And they shoo everybody out the door, and that's how the sting comes to an end. Now, does it work? Is it worth watching? Those kinds of things. I'll say this. I loved it all. It paces a little bit slow at times because you have to develop, Redford's character's got it in with this waitress, and he's trying to sleep with her, and then it's like the hitman's after him. Well, guess who the hitman is? And some of that got a little tedious. It's not really relevant. The Fed twist, didn't quite understand why do we have all that if it was like everyone knew it was actually Gondorff's guy. Like, I don't know where all that. And the ending was very abrupt. Like, there was the shooting, the mobster runs off. It's like $10 million, though. You wouldn't have checked or looked. They go out the same alley, I think. It was like a little abrupt. But I will say, this makes it like an 8. This makes it like a 9. It's like, it makes it like it's just not great, because you have these little moments where you're just kind of, is that, I got to be honest, I almost feel like, should I watch it again to kind of analyze those 2 or 3 nitpicky things? Because they are literally nitpicky things. They're not really that big issue. This is a very well done, interesting, and immersive. My gosh, you really feel like you're in the Great Depression. Every element is like the location and feel of everything, the costume designs, just every element of everything was just done just really, really perfectly well. And by the way, back when they cared, right? So Newman's character is trying to prep for the poker game, and they had this little card shuffle thing on the hands, and they went and found an actual magician who did that. And it's not quite an hour in or so, but anyway, it's an actual magician doing all of those card manipulations. I thought was great, by the way. So it's also a movie where Redford's Kelly puts like a little marker in the door. So they have like a little, closing the door, but you have like a little piece of paper or something. So if the door gets open, the paper's on the ground, someone's inside the apartment. And you've seen this used elsewhere. And as far as I know, it started here. So there are little moments like that even you necessarily wouldn't have picked up on, but are part of the film's greatness and legacy in the grand scheme of things. So, like I said, Johnny Dangerously, man, this inspired Johnny Dangerously. What am I supposed to say or do to that? It's freaking great. So anyway, that's my take on it. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys love it, I don't know. I'm really, really sort of in awe at how good it has held up, and really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you're enjoying Throwback Thursdays, where we take a movie, an older film maybe you haven't seen, or something you haven't seen in a while, and remind you of it, hopefully inspire you to watch some good things as well. So thanks for everything. Love those recommendations. Keep them coming. I am Pops.